Morning has come, arise and greet the day. Dance with joy and sing a song of gladness. The light of hope it shines upon each face. May it bring faith to guide our journey home. A new day dawns, once more the gift is given. Wonder fills this moment shared together. The light of peace it shines upon each face. May it bring faith to guide our journey home. Open our eyes to see that life abounds. Open hearts to welcome it among us. The light of love it shines upon each face. May it bring faith to guide our journey home.
Good morning and welcome to Live Oak Unitarian Universalist Church. I'm Reverend Joanna. Whoever you are, whomever you love, wherever you are on life's journey, you are welcome here. I hope you have been enjoying the holiday season. We've got a real special service for you here today. Sometimes on life's journey, it is good to pause and kind of take stock. And I think especially so when you are living through monumental times as we are living through this global pandemic. You know, it's interesting, the churches back that went through the 1918 pandemic, they didn't seem to do that. They didn't leave us any notes or any diary entries about what their experience was like. We're trying to do something different. We're creating a repository of short videos from our members talking about what the experience was like for them, what they've learned, and what they hope for the future. So today you're going to get to see a sampling of some of these videos. I hope that it will motivate you to do likewise. All you need to do is send an email to minister@liveoakuu.org, and I'll be happy to send you some information or to get you set up. We can certainly help you with this if you'd like. On the precipice of the new year, we here at Live Oak are looking forward to some new things. I don't know if you can hear jackhammers behind me, but we have people who are here today. They are beginning the work that is going to result in us having an elevator here. We're going to be saying some wistful goodbyes both to our music director who is retiring and our director of Lifespan Faith Development who is going to be moving to South Carolina to become a full-time grandma. We're going to miss them and we're so grateful for everything that they have brought to this community. And there is also some excitement as we know that we're going to be meeting some new faces who are going to be part of Live Oak. There are so many unknowns about the next year. Heck, there are so many unknowns just about the next month. But what is known is that it is so good to be together with you, to be here at Live Oak, even if we are doing it from the comfort of our own homes. And now let us do what we do every Sunday, whether we are online or outdoors or here in our sanctuary. Let us light our chalices together.
morning star arising, bright morning star arising, bright morning star arising. Day is breaking in my soul.
Bright morning star arising, bright morning star arising, bright morning star arising. Day is breaking in my soul. Rise up from morning slumber, rise up from morning slumber, rise up from morning slumber. Day is breaking in my soul. Rise up and hear your calling, rise up and hear your calling, rise up and hear your calling. Day is breaking in my soul. Oh, lift your voice to heaven, oh, lift your voice to heaven, oh, lift your voice to heaven. Day is breaking in my soul. We'll build this faith together, we'll build this faith together, we'll build this faith together. Day is breaking in my soul. Bright morning star arising, bright morning star arising, bright morning star arising. Day is breaking in my soul.
Here are the top 10 things I learned from COVID. Number 10. COVID is ugly. It looks like Pinhead from Hellraiser had a baby. Number 9. For a while, I thought people only existed on screen. Number 8. I have a love-hate relationship with Zoom, without the love. Number 7. Even though vaccines are safe and effective, people are like, I'm good. Give me bleach and horse pills. Number 6. Hating COVID is the only thing that brings Republicans and Democrats together. Number 5. There's an infinite amount of things I can deliver to my door. Number 4. Since we found out essential workers are essential, let's give them essential pay and benefits. Number 3. When I see a person in a mask, I automatically bond with them, 6 feet apart. Number 2. I think vaccines have another name than Pfizer and Moderna, and Q will reveal that to us someday. And number 1, COVID is the reason I don't go to the gym.
There are more waters rising, this I know, this I know. There are more waters rising, this I know. There are more waters rising, they will find their way to me. There are more waters rising, this I know, this I know. There are more waters rising, this I know. There are more fires burning, this I know, this I know. There are more fires burning, this I know. There are more fires burning, they will find their way to me. There are more fires burning, this I know, this I know. There are more fires burning, this I know. There are more mountains falling, this I know, this I know. There are more mountains falling, this I know. There are more mountains falling, they will find their way to me. There are more mountains falling, this I know, this I know. There are more mountains falling, this I know. I will wade through the waters, this I know, this I know. I will wade through the waters, this I know. I will wade through the waters when they find their way to me. I will wade through the waters, this I know, this I know. I will wade through the waters, this I know. I will walk through the fires, this I know, this I know. I will walk through the fires, this I know. I will walk through the fires when they find their way to me. I will walk through the fires, this I know, this I know. I will walk through the fires, this I know. I will rebuild the mountains, this I know, this I know. I will rebuild the mountains, this I know. I will rebuild the mountains when they find their way to me. I will rebuild the mountains, this I know, this I know. I will rebuild the mountains, this I know. There are more waters rising, this I know, this I know. There are more waters rising, this I know. There are more waters rising when they find their way to me. I will wade through the waters, this I know, this I know. I will wade through the waters, this I know.
How has this pandemic affected me personally? Well, it's affected me pretty profoundly and simply. It has changed my attitude towards my life. A cancer diagnosis and 4 years of continuing treatment had the most profound, unplanned effect on my personal life. But this pandemic has had the most profound effect on my more public life. It made me realize that personal contact with my family, friends, and future friends can't be replaced with phone calls and with Zoom calls. I need to see facial expression. I need to see body language to communicate effectively, really. I've also learned that I must have alone time. That's very difficult if you are quarantined with another person 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. It's led me to utilize my outdoor space and be in my garden more, use the bench that Wayne built for me in the back of our property, just to spend hours out there. What I've also missed is watching the children at church as they're growing up, and it's been such a joy to come back to church and see them again laughing and playing and knowing that they're probably going to be okay after all of this.
My experience of the pandemic has been kind of up and down. As soon as it hit, I got furloughed, and that's really hard. That basically means that you're off of work and they don't pay you. So that really, really was hard. And I was furloughed probably for about 3 months. I think it was a while. And then after that, I've just been going back to work. They immediately, as soon as we could come back, I went back to work, and I've been working the rest of the way through it. I don't think I gave myself enough time to completely understand what we were going through, that it's been so difficult. We're in a traumatic situation, and because I just been, except for that time off, I was forced to take off, and that was my trauma then, is that I was forced to take off time. But actually understanding the emotional trauma that we've been going through just because the whole world stopped, even if I didn't.
And my experience of the pandemic has been, it's been one of a constant level of tension. It's like waiting for the other shoe to drop in some kind of sense. And I'm aware that that's been a thing that people all over have dealt with, is that we're all exhausted for being in this state of tension 24 hours a day for, a year and a half, 2 years. And it's emotionally exhausting. So
I'm tired.
but yeah, it's been,
I'm tired.
it's been
yeah.
my experience, is that it's been exhausting, and it has gone on for too long.
Things like technology, I think we take for granted. I think if this had happened 20 years ago, we would have been like really in a lot of trouble. I think we take for granted kind of our privilege that we can have the internet, that we can afford to pay for the internet, or that we have friends on the internet. Like it's like that. I think is something that I never really understood until this past couple of years, is that family isn't right in your face all the time, that they can be anywhere. And as long as you're making those constant connections with somebody. I have friends who are in like DC that I've never met in person, that like I'm going to go to them with my problems because we have gotten that close. And I think that's the most important part, is that I think we grew as a community, as people, making those connections via the internet.
Yeah, I think because we took our day-to-day face-to-face interactions for granted until we couldn't do it. And then we had to learn how to fulfill those social needs. Even introverts like me need that kind of social connection. And so for me, what I've learned from the pandemic, and how I've grown from it is sort of kind of bittersweet, because one of the things that it forced me to do was to look at my self-care. And part of that self-care was, for example, reaching out and taking action on something that Harmony has been telling me for years, and that before her, other people I've dated have been telling me, and I've refused to believe that I have ADHD. And I always had these coping mechanisms that let me just kind of squeak by in the adult world, but without the structure of the world we had before the pandemic. My difficulties in being able to focus were really brought into stark relief.
You just had yourself to rely on, and you found that your brain was not your ally.
That my brain is not my ally, and I needed to reach out and sort of put that toxic macho, oh, I can do this all myself, I just have to push harder. It's like, no, I can't. Can you help me?
Right.
And not beat myself up for saying, can you help me? The downside is, the other thing that I've learned about this pandemic, and it is not a good lesson, but I think I had to find it out eventually. I think we all did. Is that is the fact that I live in a culture where a significant third of us not only don't really care about other people, but are smugly proud of that.
It's hurtful.
It's hurtful, and it is the reason this pandemic has gone as long as it has. Because, how dare you tell me what I can and can't do, even if it will save other people's lives.
That's hard. It's hard to see hope. It's hard to even see the future. I'm just trying to think about what's going to be like in like 2 weeks. It's so hard to even imagine what the world's going to be like in March, May, December of next year. Like I don't know. What I want more than anything is to be able to feel okay going places. Like I go places and it's always in the back of my mind that this isn't safe. I want to be okay going places and other people be okay going places.
And yeah, I'm with you, is that I have a hard time. I mean, my head is just down trying to just get through the next day or just get through the next 6 hours. That it's hard to really think about, what do I hope for the future? And, the thing I said before about we have learned that a significant portion of our society takes a smug pride in not caring about people. That really, really damages my hope for the future of the culture, the society, the world that I live in. And yet, I also see a lot of pushback against that by people who are like, yeah, rugged individualism doesn't work. We're an intensely social species. And that's not a weakness. That is what makes us, human, and it's what makes us, contrary to American beliefs, relying on other people and being relied upon makes us stronger, not weaker.
What's your name?
Eleanor.
And how old are you?
I'm 4.
Great. So can you tell me?
I want to sing about it.
Okay, you can in a minute. Can you tell me about your pandemic experience? What happened during the pandemic?
I got a little bit sick a long time ago, but I'm better now.
Yeah. And did you get to go to school the whole time, or did you stay home from school?
I stayed home from school, and now I still go to school.
Now you go to school? And what did you learn during the pandemic? Hey, look here.
You can't stick your tongue out at your friend.
You can't stick your tongue out at your friends? What else did you learn? Hey, look here, please. What else did you learn?
About
The pandemic.
I learned that you have to wear a mask, because if you wear a mask, then it will keep you safe from the pandemic.
Very good. High five. And what do you hope will happen in the future?
That I will get to be a mom.
We are going, heaven knows where we are going, but we know we're
So, question 1. What has been your experience of the pandemic so far? Although I have been working from home 6 months before the pandemic hit, I'm going to be honest and say I really don't like working from home. Just do not like it. There are some advantages of working from home. Like I can do two things at once now: work and do housework, like washing the clothes. But and there are other things like hot lunches and taking afternoon naps, whether I want to take them or not. Um, but I really miss the spontaneous discussions with my coworkers, and I miss overhearing conversations where people are trying to solve a problem and thinking, I know something about this. I can help. What did I learn or realize as a result of the pandemic experience? I guess I learned that I really need an exercise plan because it's just too easy to sit at my computer all day. And this is another bad thing about working from home is that I get up in the morning and I start working, and then, I'm still working at 9 o'clock. If there's something that's really, really bugging me and I can't really solve it, I'll just continue working. And, I really kind of hate that. But it's really not healthy for me to sit in front of the computer all day. Question number 3. What do I hope for the future? I keep thinking about Donald Fagen's 1982 song, IGY, especially the line, just machines to make big decisions, programmed by fellows with compassion and vision. It would be nice if fellows with compassion and vision would swoop in and save the day. The problem is we have those, and not enough people are listening to them. But science will only get us so far. We are too mobile of a world. Viruses spread too easily. If we're going to get out of this mess, we're going to need worldwide cooperation. And this extends not just to other countries, but factions within a country. We will never conquer this virus with people substituting their gut feelings for advice from experts. And maybe, if we can learn to cooperate well enough to survive a pandemic, then we can cooperate on other issues as well, like global warming. And then, maybe, just maybe, we'll have spandex jackets, one for everyone.
I think the first thing was that life changed very quickly. It was kind of overnight, and the schools closed and
Shops
church
closed. Yeah.
life shut down.
You go to the grocery
Shocking.
store and there's a policeman at the front of the grocery store letting only so many people in at a time.
Yes, lines at HEB. I remember a line
Yeah.
around the building.
Yes, I remember at the beginning, I was at home so much. I'm not used to being at home much all the time. So when I would go to HEB, I would walk around the whole property, there's restaurants and Starbucks dry cleaners near our HEB. It was March. It felt so good just to walk. And then as the pandemic went on, my world became smaller and smaller, and I had to make myself walk that far.
Mm-hmm.
I noticed my world constricting during the pandemic.
Yeah. I was pretty much used to being at home alone, but there was a definite different feel to it. It was very much of an isolation rather than just I'm at home, first of all, because you're kind of lucky to be home and be retired. That's the difference. Staying at home because you have to, and there's nobody on the streets.
Mm-hmm. And the fear of the virus initially
was huge.
Yeah.
I think we've moved away from that a little bit, but at first it was very scary.
Yes. Very true.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, a lot of people were wiping down their groceries after
Yes.
they've
Yes.
purchased it, or their mail.
Yes.
Keep it in the garage, wipe it
Mhm.
down, then bring it in. Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah. Very
We've
true.
gone-
You didn't. Yeah. Every surface was suspect,
Mm-hmm.
no matter what kind of your clothes.
Right.
My stepdaughter came in and would take off all the clothes that she had been wearing. She feared that they were, on her clothes.
Well, I brought you the cat, and I brought my Clorox wipes so that when I used your restroom,
Oh, you're kidding.
I did. I wiped off everything I touched.
That's too funny. That's too funny.
But I did that whenever I went somewhere.
Oh yeah, I forgot that that was part of it.
But Sandy did get the cat. That
I
was
did
kind
get
of
a cat.
nice.
I got a cat out of. That's a positive thing. I got a cat out of the pandemic.
Mhm.
So.
And I got rid of the cat. She was a neighbor's cat. The neighbor had died, and I took over the cat.
Yeah.
What I learned is how to do Zoom.
Yes.
It's a big thing. It's a big deal.
Zoom.
And that
Well,
has
that's
been a saving grace during
Mhm.
the pandemic. We just finished our women's meeting. We all said how wonderful it has been to be together and talk. And one lady said to see the whole face, right? Because you can see the
Yes.
expression on people's faces.
Mhm.
Eyes down to mouth.
That's right. That's made a big difference.
Yes.
And I mean, you learned how to operate Zoom, the app, and I just learned, how to get into the meeting, and I was excited, and it has. It's at first I was reluctant, I thought I can only handle so much of this Zoom, but now, I'm anxious to get together, and it's become that's really been one of the real positive things,
Mhm.
I think, about the whole thing. The pandemic itself, I don't know.
Not much positive.
I can't come up with anything.
Maybe just an appreciation of what we had before.
Yes, yeah.
You know, how easy it was. Another thing I've noticed is when I tend to not look at people when I'm out, because in the past you'd be looking for the person who smiled, or you'd have a little interaction, and we don't do that now. And so you kind of avert your eyes so that nobody talks to you.
There's less of that. You're
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, and I miss that. I miss talking to a stranger.
Uh-huh.
Mm.
Well, I'm not too pleased with the people that don't want to be vaxxed or don't want to wear masks. Yeah. And about people who are preaching so strongly that we shouldn't be vaxxed, or that we shouldn't trust the vaccines, or, that you don't need the mask. There's so much, the disinformation that is out here, that is out in the public, is really a sad thing.
I think it makes us realize how vulnerable we all are. That a little virus can come along and turn humanity inside out and upside down and change everything.
And all over the
and
world.
And kill a lot of us.
Yes, yeah. We'll get to 1 million just here in America. We will.
Oh yeah, we're on our way.
Yeah, truly.
Well, for humanity, I feel that I've come to understand clearly humanity is like a big weaving, a piece of weaving with all the threads. And I realize I need to be out in the world. I'm quite an introvert. I'm a very quiet person. Hardly talk at all, right? But I noticed that this year of isolation, boy, I need to talk to strangers. I call it, I need people at fives. which is not my close relationships at ones and twos, people who I work with, even the people in my groups. I need people further and further out, socially distanced from me, to complete me, so that I feel like I'm part of the fabric of humanity. And I felt, quite cut off from this for the past 2 years. And I appreciate how we are connected much more than I did before.
Yeah, the banter is coming back.
Yeah.
I have kind of noticed that.
A little, yeah.
A little bit.
But we need that.
Yeah.
I've noticed too that coming back here and seeing other people and the children that have grown so much. And I live with the child, so I've seen her, grow, which gives you a sense of perspective of the time that's gone by. But then that's really kind of almost, it's sad in a way that we've missed that.
We can't mention the politics, can we? No. No. Well, no, we won't go there. No.
Well,
dear me.
It would be nice if we still have a country, right?
Well, yeah,
democracy.
it'd be nice if we still had a democracy.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a very real,
Concern.
yes, very real concern.
Yeah.
It's such a concern that it is my hope that we can hold on to our democracy. I think it will be could be a hard time. Hopefully less than 1 decade, maybe 1 decade. Even if it's more than 1 decade, we have to hold on to it, because that we make it. We are the ones. It's us who hold it. That's my hope.
And that we can come back together, not just as a church, but as a people.
Yeah, not just getting back together as our groups like church and things like that, but as a people in a country. I don't know, that's going to take a long time.
Yeah, a lot of healing has to happen.
Yeah, that's going to take a long time.
A lot of healing, not just from the virus.
Yeah. I never thought that this would, I'm close enough towards closer to the end of my life than the beginning. And, I never dreamed that, of course, that the pandemic and the politics of today would be what I experienced in the last part of my life. I just sort of, figured I'd just slide on through like I always have been, but wow.
Or that somehow people would be even more enlightened, and it would be more that way, right? I kind of envisioned us evolving and becoming more enlightened and more connected as opposed to what's happened. But I hope this is the the worst part.
Yeah,
Right,
is
right.
the worst part over,
And then it
is
gets-
the worst
We can
to
go
come.
up from here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being with us this morning. A huge thank you to all of our guest speakers. Thank you so much, for being willing to be vulnerable, to face the discomfort of remembering difficult things, and to share your stories with us. A special thank you to our producer, Edith Waters, for putting the service together. And I hope that this service has maybe stirred something up in you so that you're willing to give us a video so that we can put it into this repository project. We ourselves are the ancestors of those who will come after us. This is a gift for them, and it's a gift for each other, for being able to hear each other's stories during this time. I'm going to be on vacation this week, spending some holiday time with my family. After all, Christmas is the first day of the 12 days of Christmas. But next Sunday, we are so happy we get to welcome back to our pulpit the Reverend Jamie Yandel, who will be coming here with their wit and wisdom. So you'll want to be sure to be here for that. Happy New Year to all. May you go forward knowing that you are lovable and loved, that life is fragile and a gift, and you are not alone.
Soon the day will arise when we will be together, and no longer will we live in fear. And the children will smile without wondering whether on that day thunder clouds will appear. Wait and see what a world there can be if we share, if we care, you and me. Wait and see